All right, folks, welcome back to my channel. You're here with Ann Austin, Real Talk, Real Business. And today I have Dr. Shauna Moore Reynolds on here.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yes, she has been a great supporter of my series, the BMWOC, not to mention she was in the magazine. I just like everything she's doing. She even came out for my open house when I had my office in Lanham. I really love that.
Yes.
And you know what? We are here to get real with you, okay? We're here to get real with you. Don't get your feelings hurt, okay? Because we start telling you this stuff and you can't say anybody told you. So today, Dr. Moore is going to be talking about, you got to take a leap of faith. You got to take a leap of something, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell them who you are, what you're about, and let's get into the real talk.
All right. I'm Dr. Shauna Moore Reynolds. I am the owner of SMR Counseling Services. So I have an actual private practice of counseling services where I provide counseling for anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress, domestic violence, sexual assault. So any kind of traumas, we specialize in our office. And one thing we also do in our office is we're a training ground. So we have those that are working on their masters in counseling coming through for their internships, and we also have those that have graduated and they're pre-licensed or not fully licensed. They're working on their hours towards licensure in our office also. So the way I developed the office is for those to go through school, outside school, gain that knowledge, and hopefully branch off and do their own private practices or go into other organizations. And since I started my private practice, I've had over 60 interns or pre-licensed counselors come through my office to eventually go on and do their own thing. And one thing I tell them when they come through is when you start your own, make sure you bring somebody with you. It may not be as many people as I did, but just bring one. Because sometimes we do have a hard time finding those placements and those places where we can get the training that we need to work with the populations that we want to work with.
So, outstanding. Yeah. Let me just go ahead and give you an applause. All my virtual viewers that's coming in the door, you better give her some applause because I'm gonna tell you, I had a student, you just made me think about, I had a student who went into therapy, and I want to introduce you to her because she has really taken the class that she took. She now has leaped out there. Just like we're going to talk about tonight, she took a leap of faith. She's now has her own private practice. She's doing her own thing. And I'm definitely going to make sure I introduce, because I think it's important for us to have a mentor. And that's the second thing we're going to get real about. You know, you can't do this stuff by yourself when you first get out there. You have to have a partner. If you think you can do everything by yourself, you want to be running your business by yourself, you know? So let's get real about that.
Yeah.
So
I learned that the hard way too. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the main thought you want to get real about? What do they need to take a leap about?
Take a leap. Sometimes we find ourselves in situations where we feel like we're stuck and we're not able to move. With me, my career started in Texas, and I was always in social service work. I started out in the food stamp Medicaid office doing the authorizations there, and I moved to Child Protective Services and Adult Protective Services. But during those times where I even knew what domestic violence was, I knew what it's like, or what the definition of domestic violence was, I was going through a domestic violence marriage myself, where I had a young daughter, I was married, and I was reluctant to leave that situation out of fear. Not only of fear of what might happen or he might do anything, but fear that I could not do it on my own. You know, I felt stuck in that place where I just had to deal with it or had to make it work. But eventually, it just going to church, and it was a message that day. I don't even remember what the message was, but all of a sudden I felt the need to leap, to jump. And part of that became a process of thinking about where would I go, or where would I have a new start, or where would I have more opportunity. And that was me moving from Texas to DC, a place where me and my daughter, we had no support, no family members, nothing there, and just starting over. And it was the best decision I could have ever made, just taking that leap of leaving. And family was against it. No, you don't have any support there. You need us, you need to stay here. And I said, no, it's something is pulling me to leave, to jump.
Yeah, but that could also be terrifying too, going from one West Coast to East
Yeah.
Coast, and then you're
Yes.
like, what? Yeah,
It's
it is a
terrifying.
scary situation. And you know what?
Yeah.
Whether you're moving from apartment to apartment or from state to state or country to country, you know, it is a mindset. It's a mindset that you got to kind of, you know, get over. You know, I even have to admit here that I was part of a domestic violence situation as well. I think we've all had some sort of small or medium or large experience, but let's just get real now. Okay. So what are some of the things that you just going to have to not, I mean, you can't get around this one little fact about taking a leap. And that is, I would say, let's start the conversation off with just being real about the fact that either you're going to leave or you're going to die, or you're going to leave or someone's going to get hurt. So let's get real about that. You know, how, I mean, I know that's difficult, but what are some of the things that you want to offer that, you know, you look them in the eye and say, listen, you know, this is what you got to do.
Yeah, my last incident happened to be where he was, I don't know what the argument or disagreement was for, but he was holding me down on the ground, my arms down. He was on top of me, holding me down. And I knew my daughter was in the other bedroom. And I don't know if she heard the screaming or me telling her to get off of me, whatever. I don't know what it was, but I started to pray. And I just started to pray, that, you know, I didn't want her to find me hurt or find me dead or you know, find me injured eventually. So I just prayed. And next thing I know, after a few minutes, he just got off and walked away. He left the house after that. So that was my, I guess, something about that. Yeah, that come to Jesus moment that, you know, that I could not, I mean, I might not be here. I might not be here to see my daughter grow up. I might not be here to see her future. So that's when things really started rolling with the confirmation I got from church, and then the confirmation of him just walking away, that told me that I can do it. So when I was looking for places to go to, you know, I was already in the state government. I said, okay, let me look at federal government jobs. Because I always heard when I was younger, get a government job, stay at a government job, you can work there the rest of your life. And I started looking and I found a position in DC. And I flew out and interviewed, I got the job. And I felt, okay, if things are lining up, things are coming into place, I can do this and be well off and be able to take care of my child and all those kind of things. But another thing besides that, I had a brother who was totally against it at first, but then he said, you know, if you need to do this, go ahead and do this. And he even gave me a little seed money just in case, the backup account just in case. And he said, you know, you can always come back home. If it doesn't work out, you can always come back home. And that's something that you can always remember too. You take that leap. Sometimes you may have to take a step back to go forward.
Right.
There's many times what I thought about leaving. There's many times I thought about, you know, getting my own apartment, even filling out applications to do it, but something always pulled me back. So, you know, sometimes when they say it takes 7 to 10 times for a person to leave that domestic violence situation, yeah, it is about that. You know, you're trying to plan and plot and try to figure out a way to get out, but eventually you can take that leap and stay out.
Yeah, you know, you raised a good point. One of the things I want to hone in on too is that it's not just about leaving home. It's about also leaving your job. It's about also leaving everything that you know behind to start anew. You know, I had that come to Jesus moment too, one point in my life. And I was sitting there like, okay, I don't think that my kids need to be seeing this type of thing happen to their parents. So I really had it in my mind that if I leave, that means inconvenience to getting to work or having to change a job. Or if I had a business, do I need to change the scope of my business? Folks, you got to do what you have to do. If it takes to the point where you really fear for your life or you fear for your child's life, it is time to go. There is nothing else to discuss or talk about. It's time to make a move. And sometimes you need that push, that leap to go out there. And if you don't take the chance, you're pretty much just saying that you give up. You're just going to accept the consequences, and nobody deserves that. This is a very, very sensitive topic for a lot of people, you know, and I think that your industry specifically, as I have interviewed you and so many folks in the podcast, is talking about the mental stability that you have to deal with to help others who are in domestic violence. You know, you spoke about how you were in it, and now you're trying to help everybody else. I know that sometimes have to be tough for you, helping them, right?
There was a time when it was tough. Even though I even took a government job where I worked with the U.S. Attorney's Office in D.C. And in D.C., the adult crimes are through the federal government. So with the U.S. Attorney's Office, I was a victim advocate for domestic violence, sexual assault, homicide, and human trafficking. So I was actually working with victims as they go through the process from the arrest to the prosecution, getting them ready for court, going to court with them, making sure they have the resources and all those things. And actually, for me, that process was actually very healing. Working with those populations. Sometimes you get triggered, or something will provide a memory of what you've been through. But in the end, it was very, very rewarding for me to work in those positions. So when being in that position, that's my second leap. I remember I said I'll get that government job and stay at that government job. And I said, I'll be there for 30, 40 years and pay off these student loans and take care of my daughter, get her through school. But eventually I felt that this is not where I'm supposed to be, because we were limited in what we could do with those victims of domestic violence or sexual assault. We work with them through the trial. We work through and get them ready. We get the victim impact statement and all those things in order. And once the trial is done and the verdict is in, we're pretty much referring them out into the world and hope that they get the resources that they need, or hope that they don't come through that revolving door. And I saw so many come back through, whether it's back as that same person or back with another person with the same characteristics. So that made me want to work with victims on the outside, meaning, I can still work with them from start to finish, but I can keep counseling them, keep working with them after the trial, after the verdict, and hopefully they'll get to a better place where they won't get back into that situation again. So I took a leap and left that stability of the government job and started my private practice, where everybody told me, no, keep that job. Insurance companies don't pay. You're not going to get paid. You're going to struggle. And my boss, you're not going to do well out there. You might as well stay here.
Wow.
But
well, look at you now. You look at you now. Just sit back and wave at him like, look at me now, folks. I'm doing wonderful. What are you saying?
So that was a second leap. Sometimes we stay in job situations, where we know we're not that we're better than everybody else, but we know that we have more to offer than what we can offer at that position, or that we have. There's something in us, that pull, that urge, that nudge, that we know we're supposed to be doing something different. So, following that instead of staying at a place of security. I know it's scary to walk out on faith. I know it's very scary to do that, but it's so fulfilling to say that I stepped out and I tried. If it didn't work, you take a step back, you rearrange it, you try again.
Wow.
You try again.
That's right. Try again until you get it. Okay, so you touched on something a little earlier about them coming back. Okay. How well do you think the government that refer these folks to you, how well do you think they're doing in terms of follow-up? Are they really trying to follow up to help them along their way to keep them out there? Or do you feel like there's a gap in service or a problem in the way the workflow is happening, which is why they keep coming back?
I mean, I think for government agencies, this is more, I guess the U.S. Attorney's Office is more of attorneys, and compared to social service agencies. So what we do is we have the victim advocates to work with them through the court process and things like that. But we do have the different services outside of our office that provide further counseling. We try to refer them to other counseling services. We refer to for housing or for job care or other things. We refer out, but we leave it up to the client to contact those resources. And a lot of times they do not. A lot of times they do not contact them. So we have the list of resources there. We do refer out to those resources, but a lot of times many people do not take advantage of those resources. So the ball is sometimes dropped from the time we're with them to the time they're out of our care.
Okay. All right. So let's switch the channel a little bit. So tell me, in your professional opinion, to those who may be listening to this and sort of saying, you know what, I want to take this leap of faith, but I'm scared and all that. What is your real, I mean, you gave some good points, but if you had to be dirty down, truthful about it, what will be that one thing that you could say to them that would get them to say, you know what, I need to take this leap?
You know, one thing about it is fear will always be there. There's always going to, when there's uncertainty, there's going to be fear there, because it's always going to be what ifs in the back of your mind. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if I fail? There's always going to be what ifs no matter what. So, you know that saying that there's more businesses in the graveyard than there are, out there right now. A lot of things that we could do or should do or are inspired to do die with us because we didn't take that leap or we didn't take that chance.
Oh, wow.
So we have to, I mean, it feels good to try. Even if it doesn't go the way we feel it should all the way through, it just feels good to at least make a step. One step.
That's right.
Make a step. Let's make a plan. Let's write it down. Get a notebook. I have my little spiral notebook. This is how you apply for insurance companies. This is how you get one of the virtual offices, those hourly offices if you need to do face-to-face counseling, all the laws or whatever. Get your notebook and just come up with a plan of how you proceed.
That's
whatever it is you want to accomplish, whether it's from, losing weight, from starting a business to going back to school, whatever it is that's been on your plate that you've been putting aside, just make a plan and take one step. It could be one class.
That's right.
One class. You start with one class at a time. Everybody thinks you got to have a full caseload, full class load, 12 hours or 15 hours. No, start with one class. And I've seen people do one class all the way through, but they got through.
But you know what? In those classes, you find support too. You find other people that can help you. So with that book that you're writing a plan, you can actually start gathering resources and way outs and working your way to getting out of the situation. That's pretty much what I did. I just had a plan and I put action behind that plan. It's all good to write it on the paper. But if you're not taking an action step toward that one goal or that plan or that class, you're pretty much going to be stagnated and things like that. This is real business. This is your business, right? Your business of your life. This is what
right.
One
step. But one thing also is all of us need to share our stories more. Those that have been through things, ups and downs, people tend to not tell their stories. And there's so many people out there thinking that they're the only ones going through it. They're the only ones going through this problem or this issue, when there's so many of us out there that are going through similar situations. Sometimes sharing your story is an inspiration to others. Nothing to be ashamed of. I talk about domestic violence, and I've been talking about this probably for over 10 years now. And it's like talking about it took the shame away from it. I didn't do anything wrong. Why is this my shame to carry? That's his shame to carry, not mine. So it's talking about it and speaking about it and inspiring others took that shame, that stigma that comes with domestic violence, took that away from me. So sometimes talking about the things that we're going through, the struggles that we have, it makes us feel better, but also it inspires others to do better too.
Yeah, and it will inspire others to also take a leap, and I appreciate that.
Right.
And I do have to agree that when you talk about it, you realize that everything you tried to do was, just to survive. In a sense, you're just trying to survive. You're trying not to make the person upset. You're trying not to say the right or wrong things to trigger a domestic violence action. But it's not your fault. You're doing what you're supposed to do. It's not your fault that the other person wants to, go the other way or says you're not good enough. You have to tell yourself that you're good enough, and you are good enough. You just have to believe that you are and make that step, like you said. So yeah, we can go on all day on this one. It's definitely a sensitive topic, but at the end of the day, ladies or gentlemen, whoever is being abused, it's really all about taking care of yourself and making sure that if you want to live, then you got to make the right moves and you got to do it now. You can't wait, for this or that. You can't make excuses. Make your plan, execute your plan, take a leap of faith, and get out there. There are so many support groups.
Definitely.
Dr. Reynolds support group, if you're here in Maryland, there's tons of places, secret places that you can go. You don't have to live in fear all your life. You don't need to do that. You just need to just reach out and just take the hand of the person that's going to help you get out of that situation and get out. Get out. Absolutely. All right. So what else, Dr. Moore? You know, I want to call you Dr. Moore, or Dr. Reynolds, or Dr.
That's fine. Shawna is fine. Shawna is fine. But I think the last leap, I think, once you've been through these situations, from relocating to starting your business to leaving that stability of a job, take a leap of faith on love.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
I mean, one thing that I struggled with after ending my marriage was that one thing he said to me is that I wanted you when no one else wanted you. You know, I've been heavy most of my life, you know, low self-esteem most of my life. So when I got him, I thought, well, I got this one. This one's, you know, he wants me. Nobody else is going to want me. So I'm going to take this one. And you see what happened with taking that one. But when it was time to leave, you know, he reminded me, or he dug up those old feelings about myself, the self-esteem issues and all those things that I had. And for a while, I struggled with the dating scene and getting to know people and all that stuff. And back in my mind, I was always, you know, I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not small enough. And all those things kind of haunted me for a while. Eventually, I met a great man. And one thing, when I knew that he was the one, because, you know, the support he gave me and urging to do the private practice, because started private practice right around the time we met, and the urgency to do that and live up to my dreams, but also the support he gave to my daughter, support in her dreams, in running track and being, he was a track parent with me, all up in it, you know, all that kind of stuff, to see their interaction and see how, you know, he supported her and she respected him. That told me that, you know, in spite of what I've been through, I mean, I can't find love. I can't move on from those situations. And it's been a great, great situation.
I swear we're like parallel worlds, Shawna. We're parallel because I mean, I'm gonna tell you, it's the truth. If you just get rid of all the negativity that's out of your world, you're literally opening the door for all this positive, good stuff. Energy, all this good energy is going to start coming to you, right? Same thing. As soon as I got rid of this man over here, I met my husband I'm married to right now. We've met 25 years ago. We've been married 23 years. We're still heavily in love. He came in, you know, ready-made family from a previous marriage, you know, and he helped heal me. You know, he helped heal me in a lot of ways and still is, you know, and one of the things that I really love about him is that he says, I will never lie to you, and I got your mental state, because it's a mental trauma. It is a mental trauma. When you go through that type of stuff in your life and you're taking a leap, you now or what I should say, you are now recovering from trauma. So you need someone in your life that's going to have your mental state and have your back and be able to love and support you and tell you you're beautiful or you're gorgeous or you're sexy or however it makes you feel. But the one thing that I would say, that when you take a leap on communication, take a leap on love, is communication is the key. You know, having that candid, straight down conversation and say, this is what I'm going through. This is what I'm trying to deal with. This is my expectations, and allow that conversation to develop so that you have an open concept between you and your partner. Me and my husband, we talk every Sunday about how we got together, why we got together, what has changed since I'm growing older and I'm thinking new things. And we come together and we renew our relationship almost every single week, because it's so important. When he had trauma in his life and I had trauma in my life, and we want to make sure we're still on the same page, because when you get older, you grow apart if you're not talking, right? So, you know, you got to have somebody to have your mental state. That's just so
I like that.
important.
I like that.
Right.
I like that.
So, you know, you got me all spun up in here, Dr. Moore. So you might have to calm this down a little bit. But, you know, we say all this stuff to you guys because You know, like Dr. Moore and myself, we care how people are dealing with this type of thing. We both understand what you're going through to some extent. Okay. So we're here to say there are options, there are choices. You know, get your business in order, get your life in order. Be there for your child if you have children. Be there for yourself. You know, if anything else, be there for yourself. Step up. And you know what? For anybody that's interested, I'm going to post a link to my Empower Thyself book ebook in the description, because I really do think you need to see how I kind of dealt with that type of thing. Maybe there's something in the book that can help you calm down, to relieve stress, that could get you happy, that can deal with your anxiety, that can help you take a leap. And Dr. Moore, if you have anything that you would like to share, definitely share that with me. We'll put it in the description box down below so that people can reach out to you, contact you. Tell them how they can find you.
Oh, just search my name on Google, you'll find me, but also www.smrcounselingservices.com, or my email is dr.shawna, SHAUNA @smrcounselingservices.com.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So this thing, yeah, we can go on all day on this.
Definitely.
Do you have any closing remarks you want to say?
Take that leap, y'all. Take that leap.
Take that leap. Stop messing around, right? That's right. Real business, real talk. If anybody is interested to share their story on Real Talk, Real Business with Ann Austin, please reach out at www.austintech-smallbusiness.com. It's not just all about business, it's about your business. So be on the show, tell people what you really feel. And Dr. Shauna Moore Reynolds, I'm gonna get the whole name. I want to thank the whole name. I want to thank you so much for supporting the channel and also supporting the podcast and also the business as well. I really appreciate you. I love everything that you're doing, and just let me know if you ever need any help with anything.
Likewise, any way you need me to come back or to do a speech or whatever way I can support your journey, please let me know.